Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulihil Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man istanna bi sunnatihi ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers. Alhamdulillah, last week we came up to the ayah 103 of Surah Nisa. So inshallah ta'ala today, this ayah that we're going to do, more of a kind of like there's two groups of ayah, 2 or 3 groups of ayah. So I put together almost 18 ayah together. But inshallah ta'ala, as usual, we'll go through them quickly just to summarize them. The last ayah we did, 103, if you don't remember, it was an ayah about the Salatul Khawf, like how you have to pray during the time of the battle. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed, one group should, sit down and another group should stand behind the Rasul guarding them. And then Allah said that, obviously the salah is, mawqutan, meaning that it has been mandated on the believers on the right time. And we describe what is the right time means. So this ayah 104 actually belongs to that same group, like a ayah regarding the battle of the war. And from 105 there's a different group of ayahs. So in 104 Allah is saying that, do not weaken yourself, meaning Allah is saying to the believer, look, because this conflict between the Muslim and the Quraysh now has been going for almost 13 years. So when it started with the dawah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he became a prophet during his age of 40, and he started giving dawah, there's people rejecting him, and then the group happened, a lot of things happen in the life of the Makkah. Then he came to Medina, the Badr and Uhud, and now this is after the Uhud, so it's almost like 13 years. So Allah is telling the believer, I know it's been going for a long time, but don't weaken yourself. You have a long way to go, and you are suffering, you are losing lives in your groups. Same way, they are also losing life. They also have to have patience. The other side, the enemy side, they also have the same thing. And the scholar mentioned about this ayah that is relevant to our time, that sometimes we feel like Allah is only taking test of us. No, the other people like who are not Muslim, the non-believer, they're Christian, Jewish, or or Mushrik, whatever. They have also test in their life. They also suffer from sickness. They also suffer with their children, their money, their jobs. Whatever the cause it could be, they are also suffering. So we should think that but at the end of this ayah, Allah is giving up a hope, and that's the great hope from Allah subhanahu wa taala. Allah is telling us, look, you have a home. You have a home, they don't have a home. Basically, in short, Allah is saying that after this life, you're looking to us to Jannah. But they don't have Jannah until they believe, until they repentant and everything. But for us, alhamdulillah, we have a hope that inshallah ta'ala, if we follow the rules of the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, follow the sunnah of Rasulullah, at the end, we will reach the home that where we live, khalidina fiha, meaning where we live ever after. Now from ayah 105 till 110 and 11 actually, this ayah, about an incident. So I'll tell you the incident, then the ayah will be very, effective to you. So the incident happened and described for this, that, there was a Muslim, let's say he's not a very good Muslim during the time of Rasulullah. Some people say that, he may be a group, one of the member of this group from Munafiqun, maybe. Because, nobody can be sure of who is Munafiqun. But he was like this, so he stole some flour, like a bag of flour, not flour, like, what do you call the atta or maida, whatever it is. So that kind of thing. So a bag of that from the house of a Jew. But when he steal it and he taking from that home to his place, there's a hole in the bag. So there is a trace of the flour on the road. So it's easily traceable, like where it is going. And obviously when he reached home, he saw that, I am creating a trace. So he gave this to his neighbor. And he said, can you keep this for me? I will take it from you. So the Muslim, if he understands that someone will come and catch him now, so he didn't take the bag to his house. He put the bag to the house of the Jew. So when the other Jew claimed that, the bag of, flour has been stolen, and, the talk came to Rasulullah sallallahu for the judgment, and the judgment began, and everybody easily can call, this guy, the trail come to this way. So they went to the Jewish house and said, why did you steal it? They say, no, I didn't steal it. My neighbor, a Muslim, he gave it to me. He said, I have to keep it. And then they understand that. And here, the tribes or the groups of those munafiqun, or you can say, or that Muslim who stole the thing, they came and they are arguing with Rasulullah sallallahu, saying that how can you believe a Jew? He's saying that, but they are telling that the Jew was telling the truth. And he's saying that, you should be with us, we are Muslim. don't you be brothers among us? Why are you supporting a Jewish? So just to make sure that Rasulullah doesn't make any mistake in the judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this ayah, and Allah is saying, indeed we have revealed to you the book, so judge by the book and the Al-Quran between the people that Allah has shown you, and do not be for the disciple and advocate. Meaning that you don't be, whatever they're saying, don't be slightly biased on them. And then say, seek forgiveness. Allah is asking to Rasulullah, seek forgiveness. Why Allah is saying this one? This is same thing happened. If you remember, there's a story in the Quran about Dawud alayhi salam. Doesn't you know about the story? The story of, there's two brothers came to Dawud alayhi salam. And what was the story? Anybody know? What are they asking for Dawud alayhi salam? It's a famous story.
Regarding the lamb.
Regarding the lamb. So one said, my brother has 99. I had one lamb, and he has 99 lamb, and he took my one lamb also. And Dawud alayhi salam give the judgment to this guy who had one lamb, but that was not the right judgment. So Allah said, make us istighfar, because this is not the right, because she was hasty to give the judgment. So same here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Rasulullah, whenever you do judge, and if you have in your mind slightly biased thing, that maybe my brothers and Muslim, because Rasulullah is rahmatan lil alamin, obviously his mind will be towards the Muslim, but Allah is saying no, don't be like this, make istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and judge whatever the book I have given, and also whatever the inside, the Arabic inside means, Allah has given some quality of Rasulullah, his own emotion, his own judgment, and these are given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obviously. So these skills, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling Rasulullah, use this skill to make the proper judgment. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, they argue on behalf of those who decide themselves. Indeed, Allah loves not those who habitually sinful deceiver. Allah is labeling those munafiqun here, they are habitually deceived. Every time they do this thing, every time they make something, some story to cover up their own sin. And Allah is saying, here you are, Allah is saying, here you are, those who argue on their behalf in this worldly life, but who will argue with Allah on the day of resurrection. So Allah is telling us, look, today maybe they are talking, they have all this evidence that the bag was found in the Jewish house and everything, but on the day of judgment, who they're gonna argue with? Are they gonna argue with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And who will be their representative? Is there anybody who will be representing these people? And then Allah saying, and whoever does wrong or wrongs himself, but then seek forgiveness from Allah, find Allah forgiving and merciful. There's one thing to understand. Allah saying, whoever does wrong and wrong themselves. There's two things. And Quran is saying a lot of time these two things. One thing is to make a mistake, and one thing is to do zulum on yourself. What is the difference between them? Suppose backbiting. Backbiting doesn't have any pleasure to do this. You don't get any profit to this. You don't have any temptation to backbiting or lying. It's just probably your habit. So we just go and backbite. Or we just tell lies. If someone asks something, we just lie. So there is no temptation, there is no intention, because this is the nature. And a Muslim should change this nature. But if you think of another kind of sin, like you're driving for, you're asking for khamar or alcohol, or you're going for zina, they have some kind of temptation, some allergy. Okay, if I drink, I'll feel something better, or whatever they feel. Drugs, or if I do zina, there's some kind of pleasure in, so some kind of pleasure. The tempting thing is there. Those things are called, you have the knowledge and you are planning to do this thing. It's not your nature. So you have something that attracting you to do those things. And that's how you're going. So those things are called, you're wrong. Your nafs is saying that those are wrong, but you just want to fulfill your desire over your, the conscious, and that's what is called wronging yourself. So there's two kinds of things. That's so amazing. For both of these things, Allah is saying that, if you do any of these two, but if you come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask forgiveness, Allah will be merciful. But on the other hand, Allah is saying in the next ayah, but if someone commits a sin, either of any of these sins, and he earns it to himself, then Allah is ever knowing that what he's doing, because he's doing it knowingly. And then also in the second 112, ayah 112, Allah is saying, whoever earns an offense or a sin and blame it on innocent person, so he did a mistake by himself. Now he's not admitting, he's not repenting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the top of it, he's just blaming an innocent person. No, it's not my fault. He's the one who did it. Like this guy is blaming the Jewish people, the innocent person. So if you do like this, then Allah, he have taken a slander on himself and manifested a big sin. Meaning he has two crime. He did slander, meaning he lied against that other people, the innocent people, and he himself committed a very bad sin. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just concluding this incident with the ayah 113. Allah saying, it is not for the favor of Allah upon you and His mercy, a group of them would have determined to mislead you. So these people are determined to mislead you, to make you a wrong judgment. But they do not mislead you except themselves. But they can mislead to themselves, and they will not harm you. But you at all. So they cannot harm you as long as you are listening to Allah subhanahu wa taala. And Allah has revealed to you the book and the wisdom. And every time you see, most of the time in the Quran, Allah says al-kitab al-hikmah. Kitab and hikmah. What does it mean? And scholars say, and Imam Shafi said also, that a hikmah here means, the kitab means the book, obviously the Quran. Hikmah is the sunnah of Rasulullah. That Allah taught Rasulullah how to pray, how to talk, how to use your brain to make a judgment, the difference between the things, what is halal, what is haram. All this wisdom comes in the sunnah, so that is called the wisdom in the Quran. Whenever you say hikmah, you say that is means the wisdom, the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as taught by you and which you did not know. And also Allah said, and has taught you that which you did not know. So there are more things that we did not know, even Rasulullah didn't know, but Allah taught him those things. And this is a favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah in basically saying that be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he is saying, no good is there in much of their private conversation. So again, Allah talking about those people, once they're in front of you, they act like a different way. When they go back, they make a private conversation. But not all private conversation are bad. Sometimes there are private conversation that is good for you. Suppose we sit down here with the committee members, for example, and they say, look, we need some volunteers to work at the back, for Ramadan or something. And after the meeting is over, we 2 people or 3 people, we gather, we make our own meeting, and we try to do something extra good. We say, okay, they said they're going to do this one, and this thing will be done by the committee member. Let's give them a hand also in there. Let's get 2 more brothers who are not here today. Let's get them so we'll have more manpower. So we are doing a counseling among us, but with a positivity. So Allah is appreciating those one here. If you do like those things, that's good and better. Now ayah 115, I bold this ayah because this is a very famous ayah, and scholars have a lot of tafsir, a lot of even the books on this one. And if you read the ayah, it's very simple. And how important is ayah? Allah is saying, whoever opposes the messenger, meaning whoever rejects Rasulullah or the teachings of Rasulullah after the guidance has been cleared. That's one thing. Is the guidance been clear for us? Yes, our guidance is clear now. There's no more prophet coming, no more Sahaba living here in our time, or no more anybody else coming to with another book or something. We all know that and we believe that. So guidance is completed. So Allah has completed the guidance. And the last ayah, almost the ayah that Allah said, today I have completed your deen. Nothing to add, nothing to remove. So guidance has been cleared. Yes, our understanding could be different depending on our seeking knowledge and everything, but as a whole, the guidance has been done. And then Allah said, and whoever lives a life other than the way of the believers. So who were the believers at that time? The believers were the Sahaba, the companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Imam Shafi mentioned in this ayah that he tried to find evidence for ijma. In Islamic fiqh, there's 4 things we have to take in consideration. If there is a rule or command from Quran, you take it. That's Quran is for everyone, like all that's the first source. Second source is the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Third source is ijma. Ijma means the consensus of all the Sahaba. So there is a matter that hasn't been cleared, instruction from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Sahaba has different opinions, and they get it together and they have a consensus opinion on that. Okay, there's an ijma that all the Sahaba did this thing in this way. That is called ijma. And there's another thing called qiyas. So it's a different topic. So this is the evidence of the qiyas, because Allah is saying not only guidance has been clear, so you cannot oppose Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but you have to live a life that follow the life the way the believers, the Sahaba were doing this. We will give him what he has taken and drive him to hell. So whoever not following the path of Sahaba or their ijma, they will be driving to the hell, and evil, it is a destination. Obviously the destination of the hell is very, very evil. This last chunk of ayah, this is the last slide for today, inshallah ta'ala. Here Allah is saying that, so the ayah before Allah talked about opposing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and opposing the life the way the believer lived. Now, one thing must mention, the Sahaba had a different time and situation at their time. Living a life like that doesn't mean that you have to wear clothes like the Umar ibn Khattab used to wear clothes. His clothes has 13 patches and everything. He was a person of juhud. He never had more than one blanket or something, and his blanket he given to his son. So he never had like this. His son give a blanket because he's a tall guy. So he has only one. His property was very, very less. But you don't have to be like this. As long as you live a life in a halal way, the way they followed it, that's the main thing. It doesn't mean that you have to travel to masjid with a camel and everything. Obviously, we understand all these things. But as long as the principles are followed the same way as the Prophet Muhammad said and as the believer understood at that time. Now Allah is saying that, right away after this ayah, Allah mentioning the ayah of the shirk. This ayah came before also in the same surah, Surah Nisa, ayah number 48. Allah is saying, indeed, Allah does not forgiving association partner. So Allah doesn't forget the sin of sin. But He forgives what is less than that. So anything less than shirk, if Allah wish, Allah will forgive. If Allah wish, He will forgive, and obviously you need repentance for that. And he who associates other with Allah has certainly done far astray. Meaning they have gone far away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah says they call upon instead of Him none but female deities. Why Allah mentioned female deities here? Because the main idols for the Quraysh at that time, Al-Manat, Al-Uzza, all these words, Manat, Uzza, they are female words, the feminine god. The Allah's name is Azizul Hakim. The feminine part of Aziz means Uzza. So they have a feminine part of Aziz who is Uzza. So that's one of their god. Manat is same thing. It is Manata. It's come from Mun probably or Munna something. Manata also means that it is a female god. So they have male god and female god. So Allah is saying they have the female god, but they actually call upon none but rebellious shaitan. So Allah is saying they don't call on those gods, actually those are like idols. Basically they are following the shaitan, and whom Allah has cursed. So Allah has cursed the shaitan, for he said, the shaitan said, I will surely take from among your servants a specific portion. So shaitan already made the promise. We all know the story of shaitan when he didn't follow the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, he promised that definitely one group of your servant will be coming with me, and I will take them with me to the hellfire. Because shaitan knows he's cursed. His destination is already known, that he is going. Shaitan's repentance won't be accepted because Allah has given his judgment that he is shaitan rajim. He is ar-rajim, he will be going to the hellfire. And shaitan said, okay, that's fine, give me time and I will take a group of your people with me to the hellfire. And what will they do? I will mislead them. How I will mislead them? I will arouse in them desires. I will make them do what kind of desires? And I will command them to slit the ears of cattle. At that time, they used to cut the ear of a cow or a lamb or a camel, and they said this one this is defective, so don't go for it. Go for the one that's good. This one is for God only, and this is not for the God. So they used to decide all these things.